Good morning, beautiful people. Last night I was in bed and I was really kind of thinking about my overall journey in life, just progression of growth. And I pictured this graph and I pictured where I really have plateaued in past several years. And when I had that imagery of the plateau, I really did picture, a flat line. And when I think of a flat line, I think of death. So that made me kind of feel a certain type of way and just start reflecting on a lot of years in my life where I was just in survival mode. I wasn't thriving. I was kind of just existing. And I thought, wow, regardless if you are neurodivergent, regardless if you have mental health issues or not, I feel like that's something that has to be just super, super common in the human experience, right? There's going to be periods in our life where maybe our bodies and our minds are healing from years and years of trauma and we're just feeling stuck and our nervous systems aren't regulated. Maybe we're in a career that, we worked really hard to get to, and then you realize once you're in the middle of it, like, this isn't what I want, this isn't where I want to be. But we need the money, right? So we kind of just like go through the motions and put on a brave face and do it anyways. But I really want us to think about, strangers out in the world, even close family and friends, like just the importance of being really nice and kind and understanding and gentle with people. I know that isn't always easy. There's a lot of people out there that are spewing hate, right? So it's kind of hard to like throw love at them. But just really, really being mindful and thinking about, wow, that's got to be such a common experience. You never really know when someone's like going through it, because as humans, we're so good at going through the motions and putting on a brave face. And we might appear like we have it all together and we're doing all the right things, but you never really know unless you talk to someone, and or if that person is willing to like open up with you, and maybe they're not even self-aware that they've been kind of just going through the motions and numb in life. But yeah, that really, really struck a chord with me. For the first time ever, I feel very self-aware. I feel very in control of my life. I feel just really good. I feel like wide awake finally for the first time ever. I'm very, very fortunate that I'm in a place where I have my career and I genuinely like love my job and have a really, really incredible relationship with my husband. I'm getting closer and stronger bonds and relationships to family and friends, because for years and years I was just so like emotionally shut off and didn't even realize that. And I'm the person too where I think a lot of people in my life didn't really necessarily know that I was struggling, because I've always just put on a brave face and I've always made the best out of every situation. So every period of my life, like if I was going through it, I would always just still like want to be smiling and happy. And I think a lot of that's just an internal like sunshine that I have, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it, but for the first time, I feel like I'm just alive and awake. And I don't ever, ever, ever want to take that for granted. I hope that I never go back to a place where I'm kind of just like numb and going through the motions. But the reality is there's so many things out of our control, and things are going to happen, tragedies and traumas in our life. So I completely understand how it can be so easy to get to that place. If you are going through it right now, if you're just like going through the motions and you're really struggling and you know that you're just not the happiest, healthiest, best version of yourself, I just want to give you like an extra, extra big hug. I want you to know that within life, everything is temporary, right? Kind of the ebb and flow. So you're going through it right now. Give yourself some grace. Be gentle with yourself. Just know that it's not going to last forever, but you do have to take some accountability, right, to get out of that place. So whatever you need to do to be more self-aware, whether that's going to therapy or reading self-help books, or just rallying in community, finding people that you trust to share kind of your experience and what's going on, because we can't do it alone. We really can't change our lives on our own. It does take a village. It takes a community. Like, yes, you as an individual are putting in the work, but I honestly believe, like, for me personally, in my healing journey, I don't think there was just a switch in my head that was going to flip. And one day I was like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do, right? It was slow integrations of social media. And I've never been super huge on social media. So like TikTok, for example, I know really 2020 is when it like really kicked off. I didn't get a TikTok until like right before 2023. So, and I'm very mindful of the content that I'm consuming, but I stumbled upon within that community Reiki healers that were doing lives, and that was something instantly that just brought me this calm, this stillness. I felt so good, mind, body, spirit. I've never experienced that before. So that's kind of just an example of, that was one little bridge, something that I was introduced to that led me down this path of, wow, this is really interesting. Like looking more into crystals and spirituality. Then that got me to meditating every day. And that has been a huge game changer, especially for me, very cerebral, very in my head. Not saying that I'm still am not, but if I can take 10 minutes every day to meditate and just let the thoughts flow with no judgment, no trying to change them, just like accepting things for the way that they are, there's so much power in the truth, right? So if we can get kind of out of our little fairy tale bubbles that we've created to protect ourselves, if you know, you know. If we can get more to the truth and what's real, just being honest with ourselves and looking in, what do we want? What do we need? It's just been such a incredible, beautiful journey, you guys. And I know I have got a lot more to go, but just being able to start, because that's where I really realized that I was stuck in my life, right? I was feeling like I knew all these things that I had to do, right, or wanted to do to change my life, but actually taking the first step to get there, and it really is baby steps. It's really one day at a time. So just the fact that I got there and made the first steps is huge. And I think I've mentioned before, I've really kind of started this journey in like 2023. So just about 2 years. And I think back, even the last 9 months, I've had more growth than I've ever had in my entire life. So I've really needed this time to reflect and, like I said, just gain that self-awareness and realize like, wow, I haven't been living authentically. I have been kind of going through the motions, right? And again, not putting shame or guilt on myself and being like, oh man, you wasted all those years. You wasted your potential. You weren't being your real self. Like I'm not doing any of that. I'm giving myself grace because I've been through a lot in my younger years, and it can take decades to kind of unpeel all those layers and heal. So if you're going through a similar journey, just show yourself some love. I want to show you some love. Big hugs to anyone out there that's struggling. And if you don't relate, if you've never in your life had a period where you're just like going through the motions or you're just existing, I really hope you know that is such a privilege. That's a giant privilege that you've had every single day where you're like living for you and showing up as yourself, and you're being present and mindful and aware and like 100% in control essentially of your, that's such a gift, such a privilege. And if you're like me and you've had years of struggle and numbness, there is hope. There is a brightness on the horizon. I want you to just keep showing up for yourself. Even till this day, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not super future forward thinking, and I do that kind of on purpose. So of course I have goals that I want to get to. So I'm not thinking, I'm not planning it all for my future. I'm just not spending a large amount of mental energy worrying about the future, thinking about the future. I'm literally just taking care of my small goals and showing up for myself day in and day out every single day, but really approaching it as a one day at a time. That has been probably something that has saved me, saved my mind from torturing myself, right? I'm just trying to be present right here, right now, each day. So let's show up for ourselves. Let's crush our goals. But again, we're not stressing about the future. We're not feeling sorry about the past years that we've kind of lost. I know that can be hard. Maybe you had a dream and it kind of fell off and you feel like you wasted your potential. I don't believe that at all. I have just this trust in the universe that I've never had before, that everything's going to work out for me. And I'm not comparing myself to other people on social media and being like, oh, these people like had their lives together in their 20s, like that should have been me. This is my journey. I'm not judging my journey. I am 100% trusting my journey. And like I said, just keep showing up for yourselves day in and day out. One day at a time is going to add up, right? So we're building these habits. We're building these changes. We're growing. It's just day over day. It's slow. It takes time, but the time is going to pass anyways. So please, please, please take care of yourselves. You're also beautiful. I hope everyone is feeling blessed today, and we'll talk to you next time.